it is that I could never quite figure out who I was supposed to root for. Everyone in this book, Poppy, Jake, even Dandelion, though she's dead, they're all imperfect and just so messy, making these choices that are sort of nebulous and in a gray area. Was that intentional?
Everyone has definitely been pointing out that it's a messy story and my characters are messy. But for me, I just think life is messy. Whether we see it from the outside or not, people make mistakes and they do things the wrong way, and it's about making those mistakes and getting to the place you want to be. So my characters are absolutely imperfect and messy, but I adore them. I root for them all the way, and I hope the readers will by the time they get to the end as well.
Author Rosie Story's debut novel, Dandelion is Dead, is out now. Rosie, thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Luminescence Foundation. Luminescence Foundation is dedicated to shedding light on neurological research focused on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases and supporting land conservation initiatives. From Imaginable Futures, funding programs in the U.S. with the goal of ensuring young children and their parents get the education they need to thrive. Learn more at imaginablefutures.com. From the George Lucas Educational Foundation, creator of Edutopia, for 35 years, sharing what works in schools today and working to inspire new ways to learn tomorrow. More at edutopia.org. And from the listeners who support this NPR station.
Support for WESA comes from New Nordic. More information at newnordicusa.com.
This year, make a resolution to take charge of your future with the help of WESA's legacy planning tools. From wills to healthcare directives, use these free and secure tools on our website to take care of your family and trusted causes like WESA. Visit wesa.fm/legacy for more.
This is 90.5 FM WESA. WESA HD, Pittsburgh's independent news station. Coming up in 5:04 WESA News, Mike Tomlin steps down as Steelers head coach. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh Opera has a new director. We'll tell you about both of those in 5 minutes. For this evening, mostly cloudy with lows in the low 40s. Rain, snow mix tomorrow, high of 46. Right now, it is 46.
You create a situation where people expect inflation and just get more inflation, which is bad for the country.
Why does the Federal Reserve's independence from the White House matter, and what is the future of the Fed?
For Tuesday, January 13th, this is All Things Considered from NPR News.
I'm Juana Summers.
And I'm Rob Schmitz. It's been 10 years since China ended its one-child policy in order to address an aging population and shrinking workforce.
But now families in China prefer fewer children. What will that mean?
You will have fewer people of working age, you will have more people of retirement age, which means that a higher strain on your pension system or your healthcare system.
And a major breakthrough in the quest to find Leonardo da Vinci's DNA.
They were able to recover DNA from this drawing, DNA that was able to root the drawing in that time period.
No news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Ryland Barton. President Trump is cheering on protesters who have taken to the streets in Iran at great risk of physical harm. As NPR's Tanger Keith reports, Trump recently announced new tariffs on countries doing business with Iran.
In the midst of a speech about the U.S. economy, Trump paused to deliver a message to the people of Iran. Help is on its way.
Keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused.
Trump says he has canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the killing of protesters stops. Top U.S. national security officials met to discuss scenarios for Iran, though Trump didn't attend. It's not clear precisely what his policy aims are, but he says he wants to, quote, make Iran great again. Tamara Keith, NPR News.
Authorities say the death toll from the nationwide protests in Iran has surpassed 2,000 people. This level of violence around protests hasn't been seen there in decades. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says most of the dead were protesters. The organization warns that the death toll will rise. Minnesota's top federal fraud prosecutor has resigned, along with the other experienced attorneys at Minnesota's U.S. Attorney's Office. The move comes after the Department of Justice pushed the federal office to investigate the widow of the woman who was killed by an immigration agent last week. Minnesota and its two largest cities are suing the government to try to halt or limit the enforcement surge that led to the fatal shooting of Renee Macklin-Good. NPR's Sergio Martinez-Beltran reports demonstrations against the federal immigration crackdown continues in the Twin Cities.
Tensions continue to escalate in Minneapolis with the presence of federal immigration agents. Today, chaotic scenes unfolded a block or so from where an ICE agent killed Renee Good. Federal immigration officers arrested at least 2 people, including a woman who was taken by force out of her car. Dozens of community members and protesters came out and attempted to block the vehicles driven by the agents. They also threw snowballs at them. Immigration agents deployed tear gas, pepper spray, and flashbangs as people dispersed. This is the second day in a row where clashes between residents and immigration agents near the shooting happened. Sergio Martinez-Beltran, NPR News, Minneapolis.
Inflation declined slightly last month as prices for gas and used cars fell, a sign that cost pressures are slowly easing. Even as inflation eased, the large price increases for necessities such as groceries, rent, and healthcare have left many American households feeling squeezed, turning affordability issues into high-profile political concerns. Wall Street edged back from its record highs today. The S&P 500 fell nearly 0.2%. The Dow dropped 0.8%. This is NPR News from Washington.
And in Pittsburgh, it's 46 degrees. I'm Jeremy Scott, 90.5 WESA News. For 19 years, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is stepping down from his post. The Steelers put out a statement from team president Art Mooney II, saying Tomlin informed the team during a meeting today that he wouldn't be back. Tomlin ends his tenure with a regular season win-loss tie record of 193, 114, and 2, and a playoff record of 8 and 12. His last postseason win coming in January 2017. Since 1969, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches. Pittsburgh Opera has hired a new leader. Announced today, 90.5 WESA's Bill O'Driscoll spoke with incoming General Director Powers.
Powers has a long history at the Opera. He worked there for 14 years in roles including managing director before departing in 2021 to head the Pittsburgh Youth Symphony Orchestra. Other experience includes working in the artistic department at New York's Metropolitan Opera. Powers says at Pittsburgh Opera, one mission will be the perennial challenge to change public perceptions about what opera is and who it's for.
As we look at how it is we engage audiences, trying to get new audiences to come in and maintain our current audiences, all that needs to be looked at and broken down as creatively as we possibly can.
The opera's general director has executive as well as artistic duties. Powers will replace longtime general director Christopher Hahn, who announced his retirement last year. He'll start work in July after the opera concludes its 87th season with a production of Verdi's Falstaff. O'Driscoll, 5 WESA News.
Cloudy tonight, lows in the low 40s with strong wind gusts. A rain, snow mix, highs in the mid-40s tomorrow. Not a lot of snow sticking to the ground. And then for Thursday, some snow possible with highs in the mid-20s. Right now, Pittsburgh, it's 48 degrees. I'm Jeremy Scott, WESA News. Local news coverage is supported in part by Levin Furniture and Mattress, providing home furnishings since 1920. Learn more at levinfurniture.com.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the William T. Grant Foundation, supporting research to improve the lives of young people. Online at WTGrantFoundation.org. And the listeners who support this NPR station.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Rob Schmitz.
And I'm Juana Summers. On Sunday, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announced that the central bank was served grand jury subpoenas over testimony he gave to Congress about the growing cost of building renovations.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preference